This is Unforgettable Learning, where we talk to L&D visionaries, experts, and mavericks about performance, creativity, and tech. Subscribe to stay in touch. In part 1, we dug into the need for a better driving theory practice solution with Lisa Daniels from TSO. In this episode, we discuss the solution and how an effective online campaign drove uptake. So hi Lisa, nice to have you back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
It's so nice to talk to you about this. And I was just wondering if you could explain to me, if I'm a new driver now and I go through this learning experience that you've created, tell me what is new, what order do I do things in, what happens?
Yeah, sure. So when you get to the point where you decide you might want to learn to drive, more often than not, people will be on Google or they'll just be searching what it is that they need to do, and they'll often end up on gov.uk, where they'll find out information about provisional driving licenses and that kind of thing, and we're in the privileged position of being DVSA's official publishing partner. So we've got a fantastic funnel that takes people from gov.uk, where they can find out how to apply for a provisional license and a driving license. And actually, if they want to try a theory test, they can actually come to our Safe Driving for Life website, where we have a free tests available for people to have a look at, for not only the car theory, but also motorcycle theory, HGV theory. If you want to become a driving instructor, there's you can try a test for that as well as hazard perception test, and also a road signs quiz as well. So there's tons of free tests available, so people can have a go, see what it is that the test looks like when they go to the test centre, and they'll get the picture that it's not as easy as just winging it. It's actually quite difficult. So then people will see, they'll see that in order to revise properly and prepare fully, they can actually buy an e-learning module and revise for their tests. But yeah, we have a shop on the website as well, on the Safe Driving for Life website. So if people do want the books, the source materials, for example, the highway code, there's another couple of books that the theory test questions are derived from as well, one of which is called Driving Essential Skills. The other one's called Know Your Traffic Signs. But if people really want to gen up and want to know all of the background as well, we provide books and ebooks, as well as smartphone apps, and of course the e-learning modules that we've been talking about.
I'm not sure if this is really relevant, but it's kind of funny. When I was 10 or 11, there was a thing that used to be called, I think it was called the Panda Quiz, and whole groups of us at school had to revise all of the road signs and different, mainly like traffic signs. And I got a little bit obsessed with this, and I was desperate to make it into the team. And I just shaved in as like an understudy. And so whoever it was who got in, I had to be there, and I had to do all the same amount of revision on all of the road signs in the UK at the age of 10, like telling my parents, you can't go across this bridge, there's going to be a duck that's unsupervised, and there's a windsock, Dad, look out for the helicopter. Anyway, I knew far too much information at a young age. Of course, by the time I was 17, I'd forgotten it all, but I enjoyed the pictorial learning when I was a lot younger, and it reminded me to ask you, is it do you have flashcards? Because I think that's what
Absolutely,
really helped.
Yeah, we do sell flashcards. We sell some really great gift packs on the Safe Driving for Life website shop
it's
as well.
It's a birthday present for your favourite 17-year-old or older.
I was going to say that's a good present to give today to someone, to just like remind you of your traffic signs.
Yeah,
I don't think
because you forget them.
I don't think I could pass that test today if I had to do it. I mean, outside of the 80% you see on everyday roads, but like the niche ones, they really throw you up.
Yeah, absolutely, they can. There are some weird and wonderful road signs out there, but yeah, they do stick in people's minds, and they are design icons in themselves, the actual road signs. But yeah, we do sell the pack with the flashcards in it, which is really popular 17th birthday present. And also we sell sort of gift cards and things like that, so people can actually buy a theory test learning experience for their son or daughter or niece or friend, when they turn the age when they want to learn to drive. Yeah, but more often than not, driving instructors are the key here. They are our sales force, really. They will be recommending the official products, they will be recommending the learning materials to their students, and that's why why when we built the learning platform with Sponge, it was really important that we got the driving instructors involved. The fact that the individual could share their learning record with their driving instructor and they could talk about it together during their lessons, so that the theory wasn't being separated from the practical elements of driving. So yeah, you're talking about the process, but more often than not, the actual driving instructors and recommendations of certain driving instructors are really, really important here. Word of mouth. Again, that's something that's changed since the pandemic as well, in that previously driving instructors were perhaps having to work a lot harder to get people on their books, but nowadays driving instructors are in such demand, and really great driving instructors are worth their weight in gold. Yeah, and they are the people that will link the driving theory to the practical driving and not treat it as a separate element.
Amazing. Now, something fun that you told me about in our prep for this podcast was around the glossary of terms. And tell us, what terms can you tell us that certainly I won't know? Almost definitely Josh isn't going to know. But give us some that we aren't going to know. Maybe give us a quiz. Give us a quiz. Let's see if we can guess them.
Let me think. Dry steering. Does anyone know what
Josh,
dry
what do you think that is?
The opposite of drink driving.
Good guess. Not quite right.
I can't guess this one, Lisa, because you told me the answer, so I'll be the goody two-shoes that already
unfair.
knows. Sorry.
Well, tell us.
I'll tell you what it means. It's correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, but it's when you, which I would never do this, by the way, it's when you turn your steering wheel while you're stationary, thus, ruining your tyres.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, you've got it right. Yeah, not great for the vehicle, but yeah, it's steering your vehicle while it's not in motion, which is not advised.
Any more? Can you quiz us on any more?
I'm just trying to think. I knew you were going to say that, and I'm just
sorry. I'm not trying to put you under any pressure. It's just quite fun to have our own quiz in the.
This is where I need my glossary up, because we've got loads of them.
Now you've made me think, Kate, of an international game of comparing driving signs in terms from around the world. Because we have watch out for this beaver and moose signs over in Canada that I'm sure you don't have in the UK. So
you might have some more generic, I think, about wild animals.
That's
but
true,
not
isn't
as
it?
wild as in the US.
That is true. When I was driving in New York, I know that, Josh, that's not where you're from or even live. But when I was in North America, I just found that there'd be nothing for ages. And then suddenly there'd be a sign to turn off, and then you'd see it and then you'd miss it. Because in the UK, we really prep people for ages. You get 3 goes. First of all, it tells you there's going to be a turning coming up. Then you get countdown. So generally speaking, I love the roads over here. They're very easy to navigate if you don't know where you're going, but not the case in New York. Now, what is it like in Toronto, Josh?
The one thing that I would compare significantly is the sheer lack of roundabouts in North America.
Of course, the four-way stop.
There are 1% of roundabouts in North America. We love a good old-fashioned 4-way traffic stop.
Yeah. Does it incite more road rage, or is it just very civilized?
Well,
everyone knows what to do?
I'm not going to be the one to speak on traffic data and collisions and all those things, but I do think probably you guys have a better system than we do. If we're just going by the collision data. I like
the 4-way stop because you have this idea that it's like first come, first serve. So you can't really, you just know who's going to go. Whereas roundabouts over here that we've had to put traffic lights in them to make it work. We're digressing.
I've got another one.
Go on.
One. Okay, brake fade. Does anyone know what brake fade means?
I know. It's a type of haircut that you can get from a Turkish barber's. That's what I'm going to ask for next time I go in.
A brake fade.
Is it something to do with sort of letting yourself come to a rolling stop without actually applying the brake?
I'm going to read the answer out. So I've got my. So brake fade is when the brakes become less effective because of overheating. It may happen if you use them continuously, such as on a long, steep downhill stretch of road. In this situation, use a lower gear to help you control the vehicle's speed. So yeah, it's actually quite sort of complex, that one, and it gets you really thinking about how you sort of deal with your brakes and your gears as you are doing something like going downhill. I think more often than not, where we're finding people need lots of information is about vehicle technology, and as that is changing and advancing really quickly, people need to know information about the technology that's in their vehicles, like anti-lock braking and
here's what I found.
Oh, Elaine says,
Amazing.
Yeah,
Joining in. We should ask. Was that Siri? Was that Siri chiming? Siri feels got FOMO, wants to have a question.
Yeah, vehicle technology, and yeah, we are finding that is something where people do need to make sure that they're keeping up to date with the information that's available, and so yeah, we are developing content in that area as well. We have a learning course called Better Driving, and that actually deals with lots of elements of driving, lots about the psychological aspects of driving, how things like stress or tiredness can affect your driving, really good strategies to help you sort of deal with those kinds of situations. And also there's information in that online course, Better Driving, about vehicle technology as well. So yeah, that's a really, really great one for any driver of any ability, whether they be a new driver or a returning driver or a professional driver. So yeah, we're really proud of that new module in our catalogue.
So look, we've learned that there's a website that people go to. There's around 1,200 questions, I think you've said to me before. There's tips, there's glossary terms, there's a test readiness score. What happened when you launched this, and how has the uptake been?
Yeah, absolutely. DVSA, the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, were absolutely fantastic in helping us launch this to the learner driver community, to the driving instructor community, to the road safety community. They've got some fantastic routes to market. So along with ourselves, we developed a really great launch plan and communications plan to let people know all about the website. As I explained a little earlier, when people, as the official provider, when people go on Google and end up on gov.uk, they do end up on our website as well. So yeah, it was a really successful launch. Our traffic has been growing steadily, and the website, we attract around 3 million visits a year now, which is absolutely phenomenal, and we help thousands upon thousands of people pass their driving theory tests each year as well. We work with lots of industry stakeholders, and we have a continuous improvement group as well to make sure that we're plugging any content gaps, to make sure that we are addressing any new topics that need to be that we need to say things about in order to keep people safe. And also, one unexpected success was actually the advertising on the website as well, because it is such a busy and popular site for learner drivers and professional drivers. We've got lots of brands knocking at our door to actually advertise on the website and in the products as well. Not when you get behind the paywall, when you need to concentrate on your learning, but actually on the website itself. We've got lots of insurers and other great road safety brands, Camping and Caravan Club as well, that enjoy some really fantastic click-through rates from the advertising on the website as well. So that's been a great success for us too.
You know, it's in the learning industry, we're always kind of chasing this mythical ROI creature that we hope to, but you just taught me a new one that I'd love to bring to my next meeting of additional revenue streams could be potentially so good and successful. It's actually gathering a new realm of people looking at it, and which is fantastic in itself. But not to sound too cliche, Lisa, but boy, I wish you were around when I was taking the driver's test. I still remember being thrown a second, third, fourth hand manual from cousin to cousin to cousin, say, read this and go take the test. It's so much more. It's a community. It's a set of resources to not only handle theoretical knowledge, but also the actual skills, but also the person who's taking the test. It's a very robust learner-centric approach, and just no surprise you've had such success with it, I must say.
Thank you. And we also manage some really active and popular social media channels as well, which go arm in arm with the website. As you can imagine nowadays, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook in particular. But for our professional markets, LinkedIn as well. So we have some great dialogue. We have some great engagement on the social media platforms as well. I think we do a sort of question of the week on the social media channels. So lots of people are chipping in with what they think is the correct answer. And often that can spark off really interesting debate and conversation on socials as well. And nowadays we're actually finding that TikTok Shop is also a really useful sales channel for us too. It's where young people do like to shop, where they find new products and things like that. So yeah, it's about thinking of Safe Driving for Life as a whole community, like you say, Josh, not just providing an old handbook to you as when you're revising for your theory. It's far, far more than that.
Yeah, I think there's such sophistication in this compared to how things used to be, and the idea that you're so proactive with the audience at all stages of their, driving career, at all types of location. I think you've really embraced them and figured out a way to reach everyone so that they can sort of be successful. And it did not used to be like that. It just really was about take the test, get certified, and off you go. And in a way, this is sort of an activism approach to learning, sort of campaign activism, safety driving. You actually care passionately about driving, and it's a brilliant case study to see.
And you're so right too, Kate. Like I don't know about you, but certainly for me growing up, it was almost like a rite of passage that you had to fail your test a few times, whether it was your theoretical or your practical exams or whatever it is. And it was like, oh, how many times did you fail? Oh, 3 times, and and of course, by no fault of the testing agencies, but it just seems like there's been a shift of narrative of how do we empower people to pass that first time and give them everything they need to succeed. I wouldn't say that was necessarily, to your point, there's an activist mentality at play here that's really leading to something cool.
Yeah, I think we've got a really great starting point and a really great platform to build on now. So our plans for the future are developing lots more online courses, bite-sized courses for people who want to make sure they're up to date on the highway code. Perhaps they haven't done their test for, it's a few years since they've done their test. So we want to make sure that people are up to date. As we mentioned, vehicle technology is a huge area of change at pace as well. So that's another area where we might look to produce an online course so people can make sure that they're keeping up to date. But yeah, I think it's things like when people are used to making sure that they take their vehicle for an MOT regularly, but it's also you as the driver or you as the rider making sure that you keep your knowledge up to date and keep your skills up to date to make sure that you are safe on the road. Also things like active transport. Should you get in the car to make that journey? Would it actually be better if you took public transport or you walked or you cycled? So the DVSA really want to make sure people are thinking about that as well, not just jumping in the car at every single opportunity, but looking at other alternative options as well to make sure that they are doing the right things with the environment as well, not always, like I say, jumping in the car every time. So yeah, we've got some really important touch points where people really are thinking about their driver safety or passing the test, but it's just trying to maintain that and make sure that people keep having meaningful experiences to keep themselves up to date and keep themselves safe. And I think that's the challenge, to keep people thinking like that, because it's easy to think, I've passed my test, I'm just gonna drive for the rest of my life. But there's a lot more to it than that.
I'm just, as you're speaking and you're talking about new modules, I don't know if you've got one on driving abroad, but I've got this kind of Hofstede's cultural index vision of driving in different countries and the flavour and nature of where you go, what the style of driving is going to be, and get ready to be prepared. Speaking as someone who has been driving in Athens or different parts of Italy, that's a very different experience to perhaps, Josh, what you might be used to in Germany, or, and actually as a very experienced driver for over the long term, it still can be a little bit daunting driving in in another country. Is that something that's on your radar? Do you have courses on that already?
We do have some content on driving abroad in one or two of our publications, and a little bit on the website as well, in the advice section of our website. The DVSA, their remit is in Great Britain, so they don't have too much to say about driving abroad, but obviously where it's talking about skills and key differences, then we do have some content available.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. So look, this is a fantastic project. I just wondered if there are any other sort of the next steps for you, where you've touched on this a bit, where you want to take it with new courses. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about this project?
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about the fact that we've got some really successful learning courses to help people prepare for their driving theory test and linking it to their practical driving. What we want to do now is to create a whole catalogue of professional learning modules, badged DVSA, the official DVSA learning courses, to help people be safe throughout their driving and riding life. There might be something to do around delivery riders. I think that could be an area we could look into. I think there's lots of a good safety angle there. But I think more often than not, it's getting people to touch regularly and getting people to come to us regularly for those all-important updates and just reminders on things that might have changed and things that they can do to keep themselves safe on the road, rather than just being complacent and doing things the way that they've always done. So lots of plans, lots more modules. I think particularly for the business markets, people who are driving for work, people who are riding or driving to and from work as well, just keeping that conversation going and keeping that interaction going, rather than just passing the test and off you go.
Fantastic. Josh, is there anything else you wanted to ask or contribute?
No, other than what a fantastic vision, and can't wait to follow you and your team's journey even further. So just in awe of how far we've come, and maybe that might be more my ignorance than your progress. So just in awe of how great and expansive the vision is. So very cool.
Fantastic. I think we've really been so proud of our partnership with Sponge and helping create those meaningful learning experiences. I think there's more to follow in terms of making sure that people have really great personal learning experiences, maybe some more nudges to make sure that people are learning areas they're perhaps just to focus people's learning for them as an individual in the right way. Maybe little bits of advice about sort of learning tips and learning styles to help people really make the most of their revision time, and just doing more with that I forgot what it's called, the progress monitor as well, to make sure that people know when they're ready to take their test and they're really making the most of that valuable test slot as well. But it's been great. Yeah, exactly. And we've got lots and lots of people who are waiting in the wings to do guest blogs with us as well. So lots of road safety brands. It's a great place for people to come and talk about road safety and developments as well. So that's the blog's always a good one.
And just, sorry, Lisa, to cut you off, but just tell us the website again that we go to find that blog and get these modules.
Of course, please come to www.safedrivingforlife.info.
And we've got one last question for you, which is one that we ask all of our distinguished guests on this podcast. And that is, what does unforgettable learning mean to you?
I think it is something that will remain with you for life. It's something that you enjoy doing. It's something that is striking a chord with you so that you can actually take something on board and turning it into your own personal experience, and having successful experiences as a result of something that you've taken on board and learned.
That's a great answer. We didn't prep you with that, but you feel like you've thought about that. That's a really lovely answer. I love that you said strikes a chord as well, because I think, there's something so important about things being resonant as well as sort of useful. So we've been grappling with this for a while, and we love this question. So fantastic. Well, look, Lisa, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for sharing so generously about your project. We've loved working on it with you. We've loved talking about it and discussing it. And I wish you the absolute best with it as it moves forward. We'll look forward to hearing how it goes in the future. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Josh. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to stay up to date with leading lights from L&D and leave us a review to let us know what you think.